Live from the 35-yard line. It's Onside Kicking It with Alex P.
What's up, everybody? What's happening? It's your boy Alex P. And guess what, everybody? Guess what? Football's back. Football is back. The regular season finally kicked off. We have a full week of games that have happened, and I'm here to recap you on what happened. It's your boy Alex P. And welcome to Onside Kicking It with Alex P. Let's get to it. Week 1 started off on Thursday night as the Packers beat the Bears 10-3, and the game was as boring as the score was. One thing we learned is that preseason is as important as we thought it was. Both teams looked sloppy throughout the game, and it was pretty hard to get through it. I think I fell asleep at the halfway through the fourth quarter because it was that boring. You could attribute it to good defense or just sloppy play around. I'm gonna blame the latter. But then Sunday, that's when they got real. I woke up Sunday just ready for football. I had my 2 TVs set up. I had my snacks going. I was in great shape. And unfortunately, I had the Falcons playing on one TV, and then I had the NFL Red Zone playing on the other TV. But nonetheless, I was in the zone all day Sunday. Speaking of the Falcons, they kicked off my Sunday with a whopping L, 28-12. The team just didn't look good all the way around. Next, the Rams beat the Panthers 30-27. The Panthers started to make a little bit of a comeback. Todd Gurley had almost 100 yards in rushing, so it's going to be interesting to see how he holds on through the season. Jared Goff looked like he could have used some preseason snaps because he looked a little bit rusty. As for the Panthers, if Cam Newton played as well as he dressed, they would be 0-16. The Ravens, in the smackdown of the week, beat the hell out of the Dolphins 59-10. The Dolphins are clearly in tanking mode and looking to go 0-16 this season. But Lamar Jackson took advantage of those guys, going 17-20 for 324 yards, 5 big ones in the end zone, 5 touchdowns, and 1 perfect quarterback rating of 158.3, becoming the youngest quarterback in the history of the NFL to get a perfect passer rating. So congratulations to him on a job well done. Patrick Mahomes, coming off his MVP campaign, took on the Jaguars. They won 40-26. Patrick Mahomes got hurt. He was a little dinged up. That Madden curse is going to find a way to strike him because it always does. He kind of avoided it this time and came back in the game. But speaking of strikes, Tyreek Hill, he got hurt. He's expected to miss a couple games with a shoulder injury. That kind of sucks for me because he's on my fantasy team and he only got me 4 points when I really needed more than those 4 points. But Sammy Watkins, he had all the points. Luckily, I was going against him in fantasy, but he was on the bench. He had 9 receptions for 198 yards and 3 touchdowns. So have a day, Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins' former team, the Bills, they came back and beat the Jets 17-16 after being down 16-3 in the fourth quarter. Le'Veon Bell making his debut for the Jets. He had 17 carries for 60 yards, 6 receptions for 32 yards in his Jet debut. So he had 1 more yard than Julio Jones. But moving on, that was after a year off. Everybody's darling in the preseason, the Cleveland Browns. How did they do? They played the Titans. Now, we're going to fast forward to the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter, the Browns were trailing 15-13. So they were just down by 2. So still in the game. How did they end up at the end of the game down by 30? In 15 minutes, they gave up 30 points. That is typical Browns for you. Baker Mayfield had 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter, 1 being returned for a touchdown. Odell Beckham Jr. making his Browns debut had a decent day. He had 7 catches for 71 yards, but did not get into the end zone. The Redskins blew a 17-0 lead over the Eagles, losing 32-27. thanks to Deshaun Jackson making his return to the Philadelphia Eagles. He had a great game, 8 receptions for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that over-the-top playmaking of Deshaun Jackson is alive and well. The Chargers, they beat the Colts 30-24 after they had to go to overtime. Malik Hooker with one of the best interceptions that I have ever seen. With one hand, he caught it with one hand and just kept running. He didn't have to bring it back to him or use his other hand. Just caught it and ran.
5 carries. Rivers, end zone, intercepted. Picked off by Malik Hooker, and Hooker back up the sideline. What a pick by number 29.
Really put it out of reach for the Colts. The Colts come up with something big. Everybody's going a little crazy because the entire Colts defense ran to the other end of the field to take a picture.
But that didn't help him win the game, but still was a hell of a play. The Bengals, they lost to the Seahawks 21-0 in the only game I didn't watch. That's because it's the Bengals and the Seahawks. It's not going to put butts in seats. But I did watch the Giants lose to the Cowboys 35-17. Dak Prescott went off 405 yards and 4 touchdowns. That was also good for a perfect passer rating. They were unstoppable, but it is the Giants, so we'll kind of hold that applause as we move on to the season. The 49ers, they had a good game in Tampa Bay against the Bucks, because who doesn't have a good game against the Bucks? The Bucks up. Moving on. The Lions had a 24-6 lead headed into the fourth quarter against a rookie quarterback in Kyler Murray making his debut as an NFL player. So that sounds like the Lions should have won, right? Wrong. Kyler Murray scored 18 points in the fourth quarter to rally and tie the game at the end at 24, forcing overtime.
Through 3 quarters, look at all this. Larry Fitzgerald just running the flat route right there. Beats the defense.
In overtime, Kyler Murray ran the ball down the field, scored a field goal. The Lions did the same. They all ran out of time. Bam, tie at 27. The first week of the season, we already have a tie. It's crazy. The Sunday night cap saw the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Foxborough to play the New England Patriots in the Sunday night game. And the only touchdown that the Steelers scored was when Antonio Brown touchdown in New England, because they got their ass whooped 33-3. They thought with no AB and no Le'Veon that there are no distractions. There are also no touchdowns either. They got destroyed, and that's how I went to sleep on Sunday. Great week 1 of action in the NFL. Got a couple of awards to hand out. The best offensive performance, I'm going to give that to my man's Lamar Jackson. Like I said, he went 17-20, 324 yards, 5 touchdowns, perfect quarterback rating, youngest to ever do it. Congratulations to him. The best defensive performance goes to Anthony Harris, defensive back for the Minnesota Vikings. He picked off my guy Matt Ryan twice, one in the end zone, and he also had a fumble recovery. So a heck of a game for him. The best offensive player of week 1, I'm going to get that to Vernon Davis. Big old man Vernon Davis, hurdling over defenders for a 48-yard touchdown. That was amazing to see his old ass do that.
3rd and 2. Keenum rolling, pressure, throws. He's got a completion and a first down. It's Vernon Davis, the Angels one, who stays on his feet somehow. And he's going to brace to the end zone and get there. Touchdown, Washington. And somehow he kept going, Charles.
Watch him get out into the flat, but watch Keenum just use his legs, extends the play, keeps it alive, and they lose track of Davis in the flat. Big hurdle, runs through an attempted tackle, and now the foot race is on. Vernon, look at this. Right over the top, there's Sendejo, who's a big hitter, but unable to hold on to Vernon Davis. And now in the sprint, Vernon Davis may be 137 years old, but he still runs a 4.4.
He does.
And look at him finish this one off for the first touchdown of the year for Washington.
Well, with Jordan Reed out with a concussion, Vernon Davis getting the start today.
The best defensive play I'm going to give to Malik Hooker. It's the guy with the one-handed interception against the Colts. The best team win is going to go to the Baltimore Ravens against the tanking Dolphins. They racked up 644 yards of total offense, 0 turnovers, and only 4 penalties. The defense only let up 211 yards. They had 3 turnovers and 3 sacks. My fantasy defense is the Ravens, so they helped me out pretty good. Thanks, guys. The worst team loss. We got 2 contenders for the winners this week. The first one is the Cleveland Browns, because Cleveland will Cleveland all the time. They were down by 2 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. They were down by 30 at the end of the game. Crazy. And the second big loser of week 1, the Falcons. Can't be down 28-0 in the fourth quarter and expect to have a good game or have any success. They were flat all around and freaking sucked. That's going to wrap up for week 1. Let's go ahead and preview who I think is going to win in week 2 of the NFL. It's going to kick off on Thursday night with everybody's favorite Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hey, going to go against the Panthers. I got the Panthers to lose that game. I'm sorry, no, I'm tripping. I got the Panthers to win that game because everybody beats the Bucs. The 49ers are going to go to Cincinnati. I got them to beat the Bengals. The Bills are going to stay in state again, and they're going to go play the Giants. They're playing in the same stadium 2 weeks in a row. That is interesting. And they're going to lose in that stadium this time. The Giants are going to get their first win against the Bills. The Ravens, I got to keep going against the Cards. That'll be an interesting matchup to see Lamar Jackson versus Kyler Murray. I think Lamar are going to get the best of them this time. The Chargers are going to go to Detroit. I think they're going to keep rolling and win against the Lions. The Colts are going to go to Tennessee to play the Titans. I had the Titans to win, but on a whim, I'm going to change it. I think the Colts are going to get their first win against the Titans. Jacoby Brissett, go ahead and do your thing, man. I got the Cowboys to win on the road against the Washington Redskins. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars losing against the Texans. Nick Foles is out for the foreseeable future. He broke his collarbone, so I don't think they're going to have pretty much success at quarterback. I got the Patriots scoring 100 points on the Dolphins. The Dolphins are clearly tanking, and with the Patriots coming in and Antonio Brown making his debut as a Patriot, it is going to get nasty. I have Tom Brady in both of my fantasy leagues, so I think I'm going to be pretty good next week. The Seahawks are going to challenge the Steelers in Pittsburgh. I got the Steelers to win that guy. I got the Vikings to beat the Packers to keep rolling in Green Bay. The Vikings defense looked really good. They looked really good. And I think they're going to keep it going against the Packers. The Chiefs are going to play the Raiders. Patrick Mahomes will keep it rolling against the Raiders. And my upset pick of the week, I got my Falcons. I'll go ahead and say it again. I got my Falcons to beat the Eagles to get their first win of the season because, they need it. Like, they really need it. So I'm going to put my faith in them one more time. Hopefully my picks are going to be pretty accurate. We're going to see. We're going to find out when we record again how successful I was. The fantasy start for week 2, I got Tom Brady. If you got him in your league, you should start him. Why? The Dolphins are tanking. They gave Lamar Jackson 5 touchdowns. Tom Brady might score 10 touchdowns against the Dolphins. Oh, and AB, Antonio Brown makes his Patriots debut. If you got Tom Brady, start him. That's going to be it for your week 2 preview. Make sure you guys follow me on all social media sites. Twitter, that's WT Fiddlesticks. You can follow me on Instagram at Bocho5. Make sure you like my page on YouTube, Onside Kickin' It with Alex P. Go ahead and support my video, repost, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.